Greetings, welcome to my channel. And if you're listening to me on Spotify, welcome to the Nicole Ambrosia podcast. I'm Nicole Ambrosia, and today we're talking about what is a Dakini, okay? The bridge between worlds, sky dancer wisdom, and why I created the Dakini Academy, okay? So today you're invited into a deep dive, a mystical current few speak of in like real time. So it's the Dakini, also known as the sky dancer, also the bridge between worlds, so to speak, in the living flame of feminine wisdom. And this is really exciting for me because this archetype has been following me around for some time until I really got it in my head. It was, I think, 2005 when I was at a raw vegan party, back when we were doing that. And someone came up to me, like I was, mingling and talking and being social, and someone came up to me and she goes, "You're a Dakini." I was like, "All right." Thank you. And I was so young, I didn't know what she meant, but I was like, oh, that's interesting. So the seed was planted back then, and then I think it was in 2016 when I was studying shamanism and getting really deep into Tantra, did this archetype come back into my awareness and click into place for me. And then I went on this big study of, the cerebral study of what a Dakini is and what she represents and why they manifest through feminine frequencies here on earth and what they're here to teach us, because essentially these archetypes are our teachers. And yes, they are different than like just a regular goddess, quote unquote archetype, or a queen or an empress or a priestess, although I would say it's the closest thing to a priestess. But they work with us in different ways. So we can also say archetypes are like, there's like animal archetypes, right? So the jaguar, when we acquire jaguar medicine from a shaman, that could mean a bunch of different things, including we're supposed to be, to release the past, and she eats the heavy energies in a space, and she's very graceful, but she doesn't take any shit. So they teach us different things. So this particular archetype, yes, has been playing through my experience and my reality to the point where I got inspired enough to create an entire academy around the teachings of the Dakini. And now that is very challenging to do. The reason is because it's the lesson of the Dakini is actually to go beyond the mind, to go beyond logic, and to be able to tap into those true feminine void 0 point fields and frequencies, to then create reality from a different perspective, to dissolve illusion beyond the cognitive conception, the cognitive mind, and anything that we can think of. So one of the biggest things when I was learning about Dakinis that I learned is in Tibetan Buddhism, they say that women are more favorable for enlightenment in this tradition simply because men have more of a challenge dropping the intellect to know God, right? So women are more favorable for enlightenment simply because men have more of a challenge dropping the intellect to know God. And so this, I was like, whoa, okay, so this speaks to me because sky dancer, being that she is the sky dancer and I'm a dancer, I have so much connection to the energy mechanics of the body, of my energy body moving through space-time in such a way to where you've heard of ecstatic dance, right? So the form of movement dance that I teach has to do with getting into your sensual awareness. Now, when I say sensual, I'm not necessarily referring to sexual, although that could be also included in this. When I say sensual, it means literally of the senses, where I'm like turning on my entire sensorium so that I become not only a transmitter, a conscious transmitter, but my sensitivity to the realm in which we are coexisting, the third, fourth, fifth dimensions, right? That I can, like, we have myself and women in our class, we are continually up leveling and upgrading because we are essentially shedding these layers of stagnancy, we're healing our energetic body through our breath, through our movement, through spiraling, through breathing, through primally yelling out into the air. These classes get really unhinged sometimes, but it's all for the purpose of the somatic sorcery that goes with this particular sort of workout, right? So we're not just working out the body, we're working out the subtle distortions that are in the field. Okay, so this includes things like grief, sadness, anger, wherever we've given away our power in our past, and it's allowing us to step into more of our power. And it's also glamour, magic, mirror work, all rolled into one thing. And I can go over that, like I've spent too much time on it already talking about that, but we can talk about that more at a later time. So right now, we're going to talk about the Sky Dancer, the bridge between worlds, the living flame of feminine wisdom. And I love this flame archetype. So my logo is the rose for the Dakini Academy with the flame coming out of it. It's so beautiful. And then, so in this video, I'll share historical roots, archetypal meaning, and how Dakini energy differs from, we'll get more into this, the queen and then goddess archetypes, and why this isn't just a spiritual cliche. And don't get me wrong, I love it when someone's like, yes, queen at me, like I feel so validated. But you know, and God, and when I'm referred to as goddess, we love this, right? This is, I'm like, yes, I accept this, or your majesty even feels really good. But the Dakini, you can't hide from yourself with the Dakini archetype. And that's why I'm saying it's not just a cliche. She encourages us to burn through our ego, through illusion, through all the lies that we tell ourselves and all the pretension, all the pretending that we do, that we've done, because we want ourselves to fit into a specific category of a person so that we're seen a specific certain way. And this archetype, this spirit, this energy, this frequency that I feel like is channeling so hard with me has essentially dissolved any sense of self that I felt like I've ever had an attachment to. Like, oh, look at me. And I feel like this is part of the reason why it's taken me so long to brand, because I'm like, I'm not just one thing. Like, I can't just do movement or teach people how to nourish their bodies properly, or to teach beauty things, or to teach people are like, oh, choose your niche. I'm like, babe, this is a holistic everything. You can't just do your makeup if you want to be, you know, if you want to be radiantly gorgeous all the time, right? It actually starts with our thoughts. It starts with our thoughts, and then, okay, maybe almost the last thing is the body. Because it's like sleep, the last thing is the body, and then doing your makeup, right? So it's like, are you sleeping enough? It's like the what I'm teaching through this Dakini Academy is everything starts in the spiritual. This is why it's so important to have a full knowledge of self, to study yourself. We study ourselves, we study our astrology. We really get to know ourselves, what works for us, what doesn't work for us, what we're willing to tolerate, what we're not willing to tolerate. And we consistently and continuously level up ourselves, not just through the thinking thing, not just through, oh, I want to manifest this sort of man or this sort of relationship or just this sort of job or this sort of thing. Or it's not really even about manifesting through our egoic desires, what we think we want, so that we can prove to our parents, to people that don't like us, like that we are successful. Because if you are an old soul or you're a feminine mystic, you already know that or you're a beginning baby witch and feminine mystic, you're gonna find out you're going to realize where you are kidding yourself. Your soul does not actually want that. And all we are here to do, right? Our soul does not care if you want to marry for money. Our soul does not care about your happiness. Exactly. All it cares about is your evolution, right? And so like, let's feed that into, are you evolving? Are you evolving? Because if you're not evolving, how we experience that is tension and pressure. Okay, personal story from me is I've known for a long time, that I've been needing to do these YouTube videos to get my face on camera and to put myself out there as a speaker and a leader and all these sort of things. And I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want people knowing who I am or what I'm doing. I'd rather just be quiet, be home with my cat, keep to myself, and not say anything to anybody. I would rather. And that doesn't work for me, apparently, because my North Node is in Aries. So I want to teach everyone that so we got to learn about ourselves. We have to learn about our gene keys, our human design, and not just that, our astrology. And I want us to also look into our Vedic astrology. Like, let's learn as much about ourselves as we can so we can activate our mission and purpose on this earth plane to do the collective awakening. Because we just got to do it. What else are we going to do? We can't sit here and just keep complaining and expecting people out there to change so that we can feel more comfortable, right? I've spent so much time being uncomfortable. Not to toot my horn, I'm not proud. It's not a glamorous time I've had this entire time, but my soul was like, we're gonna learn these lessons so that you can get your face on the camera and start saying words like I am now. So I hope you guys are being thoroughly entertained so far. So, okay, so let's get back to the Dakini. So by the end of all this, okay, I'll show you, let's see, by the end of this, I'll also open the doors to how Dakini energy inspires the Dakini Academy and how you can begin to awaken her in you. So I think we're already doing this because my intention with these videos is that more than just a message, it's a transmission, and I'm wanting everyone watching these videos to feel the transmission of the archetypes through me. Okay, so let's start with number 1, etymology and the basic definition. Okay, so let's begin with the word. So in Sanskrit, Dakini is often translated as the sky dancer or sky dweller. In Tibetan, it's like Khandra or Khandrama. It carries the same sky walking, sky moving correlation. So we're already seeing that in different parts of the earth and parts of the world, so it's Tibet and in Sanskrit, they have these similar archetypes, right? So we see that sometimes. But it's correlating. So this is not just sky, like the physical sky, like where the clouds are. It means space, it's emptiness, it's open awareness. So sky dancer is one who moves freely. She's like dancing. She's like, oh, now I'm here, now I'm here. She's moves freely in the field of awareness, unbound by fixed form. Okay, so in the field of awareness, unbound. She's not attached to just being in this physical vessel body and dancing around the parks or on the street or wherever she's moving around. But she also dances in different realms, right? So she can astral travel. So everyone can do this. We do this when we go to sleep and dream, right? We go somewhere else. We leave our bodies when we sleep. But she can do this in the daytime where she can literally be in multiple different places at once, but not like physically speaking. Like she can will herself, she can think herself to somebody. And we can do this. Everyone can do this, and we actually do this all the time. But she dances between realms and between fixed realizations of the matrix, of the code that we're programmed into. So I have this one hair right here that I'm like, okay, so I did myself a little haircut this morning. I just trimmed my ends, but we're just gonna go like that. Okay. So in many Buddhist tantric sources, okay, from the internet, from my studies, okay, the Dakini is the feminine expression of wisdom activity. Okay, she's not just sitting back chilling with a lotus growing out. No, she's dancing around. She's like a fairy. She's like buzzing around. She's alive, full of energy. She's dynamic, and then she's cutting through delusions, the bullshit detector on this archetype, on this feminine person. She's like, nope. We'll physically reject it. So Dakinis can appear in peaceful, wrathful, or hybrid forms. So think of a woman in general. Think of, if you're a woman watching this, you know that we can be peaceful, we can be wrathful, we can be like all these sort of things. We can feel all these sort of energies within us. Sometimes we're like super playful. So whenever I think of a Dakini, I actually think of more of a playful archetype. And when I think of more like a Tara or a Kuan Yin, that archetype to me is more peaceful. So it's just depending on what is needed to awaken a practitioner, right? So secondly, the historical and lineage manifestations of the Dakinis. So Dakinis are not just mere myth. They are intertwined with historical teachers, lineages, and practices. So for example, and forgive me if I do not pronounce these words correctly. So the word is Machig Labron. And I kind of said that with a French accent. I don't know why. So it's 11th, she's 11th century Tibetan yogini. Machig Labdron is a major Dakini figure. She co-founded the Chod tradition, literally meaning cutting through, teaching that we can offer our own fears and attachments to awaken clarity, which this is amazing, because when we can offer our fears, right? So I know some people who are doing really beautiful, big things in their lives. They say like, oh, I run screaming into my fears. That's a very Dakini thing to do. And we realize attachments. We realize like, oh, I'm attached to this person, place, thing, or idea. In all of our attachments, we bring awareness to them so that they can be dissolved and just really actually given to spirit. So we're not bound by these things. And so ultimately the intention is sovereignty and freedom. So many Buddhist traditions also regard Yishi Sogyal as a Dakini or Dakini embodiment. She is venerated as the consort and principal interpreter of Padmasambhava's teachings. Okay, so these women, so these revered Dakini embodiments, they're not afraid of their sensual energy and their sexual energy and their eroticism. In fact, that's one of their predominant flavors is their ability to be connected to that and not afraid of their own sensual power and authority, and to know what the power of that is, to share it with other with masculine counterparts, right? So a consort is a counterpart, usually having to do sensually, right? So over time, practices and iconography have emerged. So the 5 wisdom Dakinis corresponding to the 5 Buddhist families are considered emanations of the great Dakini, the Vajra Yogini and the Sarva Buddha Dakini. Okay, So she is tightly woven in to Tantra lineages, operating in subtle energetic realms. So if you ever have studied or want to study Tantra, okay, a lot of it is going beyond our preconceived notions of ourself, our partner, and the moment itself. And that in itself dissolves the illusion and delusions that we bring into an experience. Okay, so through history, Dakinis also tested practitioners. Many stories of Mahasiddhas include Dakini challenges to vet sincerity, readiness, and surrender. So essentially, the Dakinis would test practitioners, dissolving, like literally checking to see if they had any bullshit in their aura so that they can be initiated into the next stages of whatever practices they were doing, right? So, you know, in the Dakini lifestyle and through these practices, we are constantly initiating ourselves. We initiate ourselves into the next stage of our path and our awareness and that sort of thing. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Okay, I had every resistance coming today to do a video, but my soul was like, you're doing it. And I'm like, okay, let me be initiated. Okay, so 3 levels. So this is number 3. 3 levels: outer, inner, and secret. And so in tantric deities, including Dakinis, teachers often speak of 3 layers of meaning: outer, inner, and secret. Okay, so this is, even when I was studying shamanic Reiki, the way they would talk about the symbols and how they're supposed to keep still. Now it's not so secret, but so outer is the mythic, cultural, and iconographic. So how Dakinis are depicted, right? So this is how they're depicted with weapons, skull cups, dancing on corpses, right? So and in vibrant colors, and some are more or less like less in your face, sort of aggressive, right? So some are more peaceful. But so then there's inner. So then there's the inner practices, meditations, visualizations, embodiment of their energy in one's being. So there's the outer expression. So you imagine the clothes that we wear, the inner sensation, the meditation, the energy, the frequency that we're having, right? And then the secret, and there's a reason why things are kept secret, okay? And kept sacred in this way. It's just like the whole aliens thing. Area 51, they're like, the humans are not ready. They are not ready for this. I have become privy to some things that I understand why we don't let the cat out of the bag. To some people, yes. The initiated, yes. But some people, you're just not ready. I saw how you guys were talking about Aubrey Marcus and his decisions that he made for himself from his own volition that he's allowed to do, okay? This is not to justify or shame or either or. I'm saying this is an awareness that as a collective, we hold so much judgment still, and there's so much healing and so much resurrecting of the dust. It's the resurrecting. It's like bringing to the surface to dissolve all of these illusions and delusions we have about what other people should be doing, for one, but also the truth within ourselves. And yeah, this truth could suck, and the truth can be scary, and we might not want to hear it. And actually, no one is an expert. I never met one person who had it all the way figured out when it comes to relationships. But I'm going to get off that topic, and I'm going to go back to the secret. The deepest transmissions, hidden instructions, direct realization of wisdom beyond the concept. Beyond the concept. So that's where the issues are a lot of the time, is when we try to figure it out. I've said this too. So whenever we're like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out this mess. I'm going to figure out what that person is doing and try to make meaning of it for my life. And I just think we need to mind our own business sometimes, maybe much more. Okay. Judgment versus curiosity. So wisdom beyond the concept. So that's what I was thinking. Dropping the intellect to know the divine existing beyond any sort of concept that we can create or imagine. Accessible only with proper empowerment and guidance. Okay. Now it's not the time anymore. We're no longer following the guru. We're no longer giving our power away to those people who, are saying, follow me, follow me, follow me, because now we're allowing ourselves to access internal guidance. And I would only pay money for guidance to somebody if it's pointing me back to myself, not someone saying, do this program, it will work for you for $5,000. Okay, unless the guidance is teaching me how to fish teaching me how to read my own energy, teaching me. So that's where it's empowering, rather than, oh, let me just, let this person tell me what to do and who I am, because I don't know. That's the part. So even if you pay money and you do that thing, you'll find out it doesn't work. And then you're going to be guided away from yourself so that you can be guided back to yourself. So that's when the money, you can justify it. you learn something, yay. Okay. This layered structure allows Dakini to remain mysterious and alive, not frozen in a single narrative. So that's why I feel like we've avoided culturally so much this archetype, is because you can't really fit her into one sort of narrative. Oh, what is it? Let me use my mind and my brain to paint you a very clear picture of what. So if I were to, describe a queen, she has, the lay of the land, darling. She has, she owns things. She's the boss. But the Dakini, she's like floating in between realms and explaining things, not just through her words, but through her energy field, so that you could feel them at the deepest level, be moved and inspired to shift into a different reality. Because the truth of the matter is we are collectively dreaming a world of chaos into being as we're casting spells of distortion into the field, continually affirming what we are perceiving through our eyes and what we are perceiving to be reality, when in fact we can just even say out loud, using the power of our word and our voice, I do not accept this reality. I do not accept this reality. I choose to see beauty and love, and to bring awareness, attention, and focus into beauty, love, and harmony by starting with my own self. Okay, number 4. The 5 wisdom Dakinis and activity model. Okay, one of the deepest maps of Dakini energy, so this is what we're learning here, comes via the wisdom Dakinis, which correspond to the 5 enlightened wisdoms. So mirror-like, equality, discrimination, all accomplishing in the ocean of Dharma Kaya. Okay, so those are the 5 enlightened wisdoms. So in Padmasambhava's teaching, he said the source of activity is the Dakini. Practice the 5 activities: peacefulness, increasing, magnetizing, subjugating, and supreme. So he's considering these the activities. The wisdom Dakini aspects each correspond to a color and a transformation of one of the 5 poisons. Okay, so what are the 5 poisons? Ignorance, attachment, aversion, pride, and envy. Sound a little bit like the 7 sins, yeah? So ignorance, attachment, aversion, pride, and envy. So in practice, one might work with a particular Dakini or wisdom family to activate this energetic quality in one's life and remove blockages related to that poison. Okay, so personally for me, all of these poisons have come up in one shape, form, or another, where I've had specific lessons that were very challenging, some more than others, having to do with my relationship to ignorance, attachment, aversion, pride, and envy. Some very painful. And I'm only saying that to say that these are parts and aspects of ourselves that arise in fear that we're confronting so that we can move beyond them. For what reason? To evolve. What does that mean? To be more sovereign and more empowered. Now, let's see. So these Dakinis, right, they're not like separate goddesses, but emanations of the one Dakini essence. The Sarva Buddha Dakini are the Vajrayogini, unfolding into multiple activity modes. The different faces of the divine. Okay, so the Dakini, so number 5, Dakini versus queen/goddess archetypes. So there's a reason why it's a deeper metaphor. I love the goddess and queen archetypes, do not get me wrong, but the reason why this matters is because many spiritual systems borrow goddess archetypes or queen archetypes, and those are often symbolic or aspirational, right? So we have these goddess archetypes, queen archetypes, and we're like aspiring to be these things. But Dakini is, and here's where it makes the difference, is functional, transformative, and also lineage based. So in the future, we're gonna, or maybe you're watching this in the far future and I already have these things out, is we're going to be talking more about lineage, especially if, we're doing like the higher things in the academy. Just gonna put some mysterious quotes around that for now. So the queen archetype emphasizes sovereignty, rulership, order, dignity, and structure. All amazing things, love all of that. The goddess archetype supports nature, creation, beauty, and love. Again, fabulous. But the Dakini disrupts, dissolves, and awakens. Okay, so she cuts through illusions and blesses with electric insight. She's like poignant, like laser I'm almost going to penetration with her clarity, insight, depth, and understanding beyond her own concepts, beyond what she's been taught, beyond what we've all been taught and programmed into. So more than symbolism, Dakini energy in Vajrayana comes with sadhana, which is a spiritual practice, mantra, empowerments, and vows. Okay, it's not optional. It's not optional. It's a practice. It's a lineage. It's path bearing. The Dakini is not just a feminine ideal, right? So that's more like, aspirational goddess archetype. Aspirational means like, fake it till you make it. Let me put my crown on and dress as a goddess and hopefully like I'll be that. No, she's embodied awakened energy so that you can sense and feel her presence when she's there. her mystery is not vague feminine magic. You're not like, okay, so you wear some robes and you wear the crystals and you play with the cards. No, it's a non-conceptual mind made alive. So it's going, again, beyond concepts, beyond what we can construct with our own mind, into this feeling energy field, Shakti, right? This power you feel. Because her lineage, modes, and power working with Dakini energy. So when working with this energy, it requires respect, discernment, and proper transmission, not casual invocation or new age gimmick. It's not a light and airy fairy sort of thing when dealing with that which pushes us into our deepest fears and illusions and requiring us to release egoic attachments in this third dimensional realm. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy path. But I would also say, and also the new age gimmick sort of path that many of us could recognize from miles and miles away. It's cute. It's aspirational. It's allowing us to at least get into the frequency field of going beyond what we maybe were birthed into, yet it's creating another sort of clique or dogmatic scenario or fitting in, or now we're goddesses, but what about the balance of powers? What about honoring the consort? What about reverence to life itself, right? So I feel like in a lot of these circles, we forget the entirety of existence as we are being locked into a bubble of, what do we call it? Like delusion, more delusion. Okay, how she bridges the worlds. The mystic bridge energy. So a Dakini is a liminal being, a dancer between threshold, seen, unseen form, and emptiness, human and divine. She moves through the veil. This is why she's often called a bridge or a portal. Her energy can carry insights down into the body, into daily life, and also carry luminous messages outward. So the luminous meaning like it will light you up. It will hit you with truth that you feel in your atoms. Like it's just like woof, like the energy from her transmission will go all the way past your persona to the soul level. That's how you know. Okay, when you meet a Dakini, it could be in your dreams, in your visions, in deep practice, or in real life, it's not just contacting some sort of deity. It's opening a passage into your own psyche. When you're ready, she'll appear. She's there to awaken something in you, bippity boppity boo, for your own self-reflection, growth, and to see where you're at compared to where your soul is pushing you to evolve to. Her dance challenges the illusions of solidity and fixed identity. You're not going to pin her down into one sort of stereotype. It's not going to happen. She's not one sort of stereotype. She reveals, so what she reveals, and it's a reflection because she wants you to remember that you are also not fixed into some sort of conceptually human formulated category. And we are all unique vessels of the divine, of creation, right? So she's here to awaken that in herself and in others. She reveals what is fluid, The big wheels keep on turning. Impermanent. Okay, embracing, death, rebirth, resurrection, and interdependent, where we can successfully be in relationship without coercion, manipulation, siphoning energy. Okay, that's her thing. And in doing so, she awakens the heart of the mystical path. Love that. Is anyone else so excited right now? Okay, so awakening the heart of the mystical path. We must dissolve. It's like this, I just totally sense and feel this whole dissolving of who we think we are anyway. What are we doing here on this planet Earth? Okay, number 7. What we can learn, how to begin working with the Dakini, with Dakini archetype. Okay, what does this mean for you? How can these energies be invited into your life? Right? This isn't a casual thing. This isn't cute. This isn't casual. This isn't pretending, okay? But if you feel inclined and you feel ready and you're like, okay, yes, like I'm gonna get down to business. First, we can study. We study through literature and the mind, and we do our best to conceptualize and to understand through the mind, reading reliable sources, starting with the writings of the Vijayana Dakinis, the Vajrayogini, Machig Labdran, etc. Contemplate, right? We can contemplate the 5 wisdom dakinis, see which color or energy you resonate with the most, and then we realize where that energy is blocked or dormant in you. Okay, so there's embodied practices, which are movement, dance, breath, mantra. Okay, so these are keys. I feel like, okay, we can look at the archetypes, we can study them, but for me, without even trying, without even wanting to, without even realizing, these archetypes got all kinds of activated through my consistent movement practice, which is also dance, breath, and mantra. So if you can visualize or feel the dakinis flow, allow your body to move even if it feels awkward at first. So the resurrecting, so the release, the unleashing of this sort of Dakini power is also witnessed in your ability to let go in movement and dance and breath and just how are you moving around in your energetic 3rd dimensional time space reality. Even so, right? Are you stiff? Are you hunched over? Are you clenching? Like, so if you would like to join me, again, links are in the description if you want to join me for some movement to help unlock our bodies, right? So it's, yes, we want to get in shape. I love it. Muscle tone, amazing. But also, like, let's work out our spirit body as well. And yeah, it is awkward at first if you haven't done it before, if you're not used to moving your hips and you're kind of tight and you haven't been in rhythm since you were a child, right? Because you've been conditioned out of being connected to your own body and your breath. But it is through the body that we can access these deeper codes of wisdom that cannot be fully explained with English words or maybe even other languages. So in the dream and vision space, so keep a dream journal and you can ask Dakini guidance before sleep. This, I would say, is probably a more challenging thing to do because we even block our own self from privy information when we have such deep blockages, like deep egoic blockages, which appear in real time as delusion, but also more compassionately, cognitive dissonance. right? So even if someone told me something, I'm not going to want to believe it because that would dissolve my entire reality. But on the Dakini path, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Okay, lineage / empowerment, whenever and wherever possible. Receive instruction from a teacher or lineage that you respect so that working with Dakini energy feels safe and grounded. Okay, I think this is a great idea. There's so many empowered, beautiful elders who hold these keys to wisdom that we could study and study and study, but nothing is more empowering than a mentor who's been there, done that. Okay, and they've been on the journey and they can kind of be like, oh yeah, I did this and this is what happened and this is my experience. Love that. So integration. Use her as a lens to dismantle illusions in your life, right? So this is what it's about. And this is why if you're easily offended, or you have a challenge with cognitive dissonance, or you can't, you're just like, I'm really wanting to live in my blissful world of, of complete and utter chaos and ignorance, and to watch CNN and Fox News and to subscribe to all the medias and consume, I just don't want to even be a person, then this practice is not for you. Okay, because this is a practice of dismantling illusions. Your stories around identity, your attachments to who you think you are anyway. Also power. What is power? Perfection. Woundedness. What is that also? And you let her cut through. You let her energy cut and clarify and activate. Right? So that's the purification. Purification is just getting rid of all the stuff that is not you, that is the not self, that is the not awakened, enlivened, enlightened, inspired, empowered aspects of ourself. And we realize that this only seems functional in a sick society, which is where most people are operating at. Number 8, why does this matter today? Okay, so I've alluded to it. And then also why this is not just a cliche sort of fun, another new age thing to do. Okay, so in a world saturated with goddess memes and spiritual aesthetics, which I'm not against any of that. I think that's fun. So, but with saturated, right? So that's a lot of people, just like a lot of people who are trying to shame people through their biblical quotes. That doesn't make me attracted to your relationship with Jesus or make me want that, or your version of Christianity. That's not sexy. That's not, that doesn't make me more attracted to that. Right. So, and also the same thing with goddess memes and spiritual aesthetics. That is a turnoff for a lot of people, right? The Dakini, for me at least, stands apart because she's alive. She cuts through the bullshit. She's edgy and she is freaking untamable. You cannot put her in a category, a box. She can't even go into these realms and feel okay in her body. Right? Because it's just she won't be told what to do. She won't be told who her friends need to be, how she needs to look like, what category she won't be told any of that. She's her own thing, and she refuses to settle into static identity or markable branding. Once she's like, nope. And she doesn't even try. She demands radical clarity, radical transformation, and radical embodiment. Like the most. So I get so excited. Okay, the Dakini Academy, I found it, is not to just be like a cute name, even though it has great alliteration, if I do say so myself. It's a container for this living current of the Dakini, and it's an initiation into learning to dance with wisdom, not just romanticize it. I'm going to say that again. Okay, so it's an initiation into learning to dance with wisdom and not just romanticize wisdom, enlightenment, and empowerment. So number 9, and I guess this is the closing. So if your heart has been stirred and you feel activated and you felt something somewhere in this exploration, okay, consider that a calling. Consider it a calling. And then I want this video to also be a mirror for your own Dakini to awaken, that own inner part of that feminine part of you that's just like wanting to just slice through all that is not real, all that is illusion, all that is story, all that is egoic attachments, including those in, having to do with relationship, and everything that is promoted or propagandized, or even what comes to mind right now is like the influencers telling women, it's like, go find yourself a rich man. It's like, okay, well, I am going to be like, sure. And you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the program that is for you, and that one that cannot be easily influenced, right? So in the Dakini Academy, we deepen into these teachings, practices, and fields, like they're literally energy fields together. So if you feel drawn, go check out all the links below in the description. Like, go through and be like, oh, that looks like it's for me, or even like one-on-one coaching, whatever it is. And yeah, just check out the links, check out me on Instagram. I feel like I'm going to be here being, big weirdo on camera for some time, being. And I hope that you at one point want to join me in one of these Dakini containers. And yeah, send me a message or comment on this video if something inspired inside of you, or you have something to say about all this. But thank you so much for walking this edge with me. And if you stayed till the end of this video, I really, really, really do appreciate it. If you could subscribe to my channel and ring and like this video, that would help me so much to just expand this. And may the Sky Dancer's fire sing in your body. And I wish you all the best. So thank you so much, and take care. Bye-bye.